Oh my God. All right, well, we can deal with all that stuff later. At least the trucks, I needed a black grill anyway. Viewers, you joined me at the track with my Ford F350. I've made many videos with this truck on this channel, towing my trailer, and I was planning on making the next video about my Super Duty with you, about the modifications that I've done to it, and maybe that will still come. I've done some really nice things, such as I've bed lined the entire bed with a spray-in bed liner. Nice shop in Raleigh did that for me. Yeah, it's really come along nicely. We had the truck ceramic coated on the interior because this is the limited spec with that light color leather, so I wanted to protect that. I've got my WaySafe hitch and a bunch of different hitches for different trailers, and WaySafe has been really cool and hooked me up with a bunch of their products. But I've got some bad news and some really tragic news about my truck. I'm kind of bummed about it, and it's taken some damage, and it's kind of the second time I've bought a brand new, really nice vehicle and it's been damaged. For those of you who remember, my Model S Plaid was damaged when I first bought it. That was like, I bought that brand new, well over $100,000 car, and a buddy of mine sent it into a curb, and well, stuff happens. Okay, we move on, we get past it. And then here, I bought a brand new $100,000 truck. You know, it's a workhorse. I'm going to keep this thing for a really long time. I really wanted this specific trim. I've made videos on why I've chosen this truck and why I went to Texas to pick it up, and it still doesn't even have hard license plates yet. It's still on a temporary tag, and that's another long story, but we finally got that all sorted, and my license plate should actually be at our hub in Colorado. But you know, it's still a new truck with under 10,000 miles on it. And the other night we were out running some errands, more like saving a friend of ours on the side of the road, and everything went to crap. So come around here, I'll just show you the side of the truck just so you remember it, and maybe we'll even show you on that side because the sun should be a little bit better over there. But you know, it's a 2024 F350. I bought it sort of as a leftover that was still new on the lot just a few months ago, and I have loved it. This is one of my favorite vehicles that I have. First of all, it's just so nice to have a big Super Duty. It's got a beautiful interior with massaging seats, a great sound system, pretty good tech as well, and man, can it tow. This high output 6.7 is amazingly torquey, and that's a good thing because I actually have the street rear axle in this. I have a let's think about this, a 331 rear axle, and I really wanted the 355 for a little bit towing because I've got a 36-foot box trailer that I tow behind this primarily. But honestly, with the 10-speed transmission, it's been a great tow vehicle. So again, all of this was supposed to be in my ownership update, 10,000 mile ownership update on how much I love my truck, how great it's been, how efficient it's been. And really the only problem I've had is a sunroof rattle up there, and that seems like a very simple fix that they all kind of come with. So I'll show you the damage before we get into too much. You can already see the hood sticking up here, and it kind of looks like a crater hit the front of my truck. The damage is localized to this area right here. I did not crash into anything. Something crashed into me, I'm saying. I will give you the full story. And the damage looks worse than initially expected. So while you stand back there, I'll tell you a little bit about what happened. My buddy Danny, who some of you will remember from videos on our out of spec channels, is sort of our in-house car transporter, if you will. He has his own hotshot trucking company, but I use him to move all of our vehicles around. And because we've moved out here to North Carolina, I have been slowly moving the cars from Colorado out this way. And on the latest run, Danny went out to the hub in Colorado and picked up Scott's Rivian R1S, so a 2025 Rivian Max Pack dual motor, my 2008 Range Rover, which I've made videos about on this channel. It's a great, L322 Range Rover. I really want that out here. I love driving that 08 Range Rover. And then my 2014, I believe, Mercedes B-Class Electric, which is sort of a very odd, very rare Tesla-powered Mercedes hatchback that was never sold in the US except for that particular car in electric form. And it's sort of a car that helped save Tesla. And actually that and this RAV4 EV, which is parked right back over here, another one of my cars, share a very similar drivetrain with each other in a similar time frame as Tesla was struggling to basically make ends meet, and both Toyota and Mercedes saved them. So Danny was bringing those three cars out from Colorado to North Carolina, and he made it most of the way. He made it to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is going through the mountains of Western Virginia, beautiful roads and a nice highway and everything. And Danny noticed, he looked in his rearview mirror and he noticed the trailer was sparking up. And he pulled over to the side of the road and noticed that his hub was not greased, the cap had fallen off, and it basically had a lot of internal resistance and was sparking. Now, first of all, that could be a real serious fire hazard. It could lead to many other problems, such as tire pressures going up. You could have a blowout. There's many other things. So it's a great thing that Danny looked in his mirror. It was nighttime and he could see the sparking. If it was daytime, he may not have noticed it at all. He ended up pulling over to the side of the road, and I think he actually stayed the night in his truck on the side of the road while he was trying to figure out what to do. It was middle of the night. He was actually trying to get over here to watch the dogs because Scott and I had gone on a trip somewhere and the dogs were left alone, and Danny was supposed to come in and let them out. And anyway, we had to get emergency dog care in the next morning. Someone drove from 3 hours away to come and let them out. So we got that all sorted. We're like, well, that's kind of a disaster, but Danny, you know, whatever you need to do, let us know. And we came up with a plan, which was he couldn't find the correct axle and parts on the side of the road in Virginia where he was. He called some local service centers. There was really nothing. So we devised a plan where we could get all of us and all of the cars back here to the out-of-spec track. So Danny unloaded my Range Rover off the back of the trailer. Now, if he was transporting, like a customer's car, he wouldn't be able to just use it, but Danny's a great friend of mine, and I have no problem if Danny uses my car. So he started up the Range Rover, pulled it off the back, left his truck, the trailer, our Rivian and B-Class all together on the side of the road. He drove the Range Rover down here to the out-of-spec track, and then we were all together and the Land Rover was here. With some back and forth, this was actually at the airport. We went to the airport, I forgot the keys. We had to come back here. It was a multi-hour, BS trip. We'll fast forward through all that, but basically all day logistics of just annoyance. We finally got my Super Duty back here to the track where I loaded up my flat trailer. And the plan was I was gonna drive this and tow the B-Class back. Scott was gonna jump in her Rivian and drive that back home. And Danny was going to drive his truck and trailer unloaded, but pull the wheel off the axle so that it wouldn't be spinning. We just didn't want any weight on his trailer. And so we ended up just, pulling the wheel off the trailer and so on and so forth. So we get up to Charlottesville. It's like 11 p.m. It's pouring rain by the time we get there. I'm pull the B-Class and the Rivian off the trailer. I'm loading up the B-Class on the back of this. Scott heads off in her Rivian. She's down the road a few miles ahead of us. Danny pulls the wheel off his trailer, and we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. I've got the Super Duty good. B-Class is strapped down. Danny's got his tire in the back. And, we confirmed that, of course, the axle isn't sparking anymore. I'm following behind him. We pull onto the highway, and we pull up to the highway. We get up to speed, and I'm like, look, Danny, I'm on the phone. Just let him know you look good. No issues. Get off the phone. We're cruising down the road. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm just following Danny. We're just cruising. He's unloaded. I've got a car in the back. We're not going fast, maybe 60, 65 miles an hour. I've got my adaptive cruise on to the farthest distance because we're the only two vehicles on the road. And all of a sudden, I'm on the phone with Scott, and I see what looks to be a tire shrapnel bouncing around in the road. And I'm like, oh no, I think Danny either hit a tire or there was a blowout. His remaining wheel had a blowout. I didn't know exactly what had happened. So I actually started flashing Danny. I'm like, just a quick double, triple flash, like, bro, something's happening with the trailer. Turns out that what was bouncing towards the center median of the road. And so I kind of moved a little bit to the right just to avoid it a little bit, hitting the rumble strips with the right side of the truck. And I'm on the brakes as well, just trying to slow down, get out of the way. And all of a sudden it hits and catches something and shoots towards the truck. And it's heading, it's clearly at this point no longer just a tire. This is a giant metal spinning unit that's heading straight for me. And so, I can think pretty quickly behind the wheel. I'm very used to driving in dynamic situations and understanding the load balance of a trailer. I tow a lot. So I know not to just freaking yank the wheel and swerve. And of course, I've already made the determination, if you're a keen driver, you'll know no one's around you, or if people are around you. And I knew it was safe. And so I nudged the truck quickly, but not abruptly, to the left, to head into the lane next to me. And thankfully I did. And then boom, big impact to this side of the truck, which if I had not have swerved would have been to this side of the truck and potentially could have killed me, would have been a real problem. I mean, not for me anymore. I wouldn't have to worry about anything. But it basically shot, and I wasn't sure what it was. And, at this point, I'm still flashing Danny. We immediately pulled to the side of the road, and, I had thought I ran over something. I did not notice that the hood was sitting higher from my position at the time. Again, I was on the phone with Scott. I finished up my conversation with her. I was like, hey, I hit something. We're just going to check it out. Don't know exactly what it is. No huge deal at the time. So we get out, and I'm looking at Danny, and I didn't even look at my truck yet. And he went, oh, my God. I could have killed you. I'm like, I don't know. And then I looked at this. I'm like, whoa, there's a hole in the front of my truck, and my hood looks like, a velociraptor clawed at it.
Not a single drip. If it was busted, there'd at least be something.
Yeah, there'd be dripping if there was something. Yeah. Oh, well.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, my God. All right, well, we can deal with all that stuff later. At least the trucks, I needed a black grill anyway. It's just looks like new hood. Headlight looks like it might be saved. It was a hard hit, dude.
Dude, it was like a whole drum assembly.
The whole drum.
It's like solid steel, like an inch thick.
Oh, dude, it was, I mean, to make this truck kind of buck, it was like, boom. And I almost missed it. Like, it was coming from here, and I hard swerved that way.
Oh, so you literally were like less than a tenth of a second.
Yeah, and if it was just, and I thought it was a tire at first, so I was like slowing down, and I was like, oh, that's not a tire. Yeah. Damn, it felt like it kind of knocked around under the truck too. So
before you flashed, I saw your lights. I just seen something. I was looking. I was like,
yeah,
what's going on back there? And then you flashed, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. And we went over to look at his trailer and realized that the whole brake hub had fallen off, that giant steel component with the brake drum and everything, because there was no wheel to hold everything on. Of course, I didn't double check anything. Danny didn't double check anything. We make mistakes, and this had come loose. There was no wheel to hold it. It was just dangling. He must have hit enough bumps, and it popped off the trailer, and that giant steel component just boom right in the front of my truck. And yep. So what we did initially right after we pulled over was I was checking for leaks around the front of the vehicle. We couldn't see anything, and we decided, hey, we're on the side of the road. Now we're in a really dangerous spot on the side of the road. Trucks are coming by. We're kind of on a overcrest, and we said, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's just, the truck's performing fine as far as I can tell. I was checking the coolant gauge and the oil temperature gauge, transmission temp gauge, and everything seemed fine. No drips on the ground. I'm like, let's go home. And what was really interesting about the drive home was my adaptive cruise control worked, my auto high beams worked. There's no fault codes on the truck. It did not nick any sensor whatsoever. But if you look here to the damage, you can see, if we get up close to this, you can see the hood really took a big impact from the disc here. Yeah, and here, and you can see it cracked this grill, which I'm not upset about the grill because I wanted to do a black grill swap anyway. This is unfortunate from a cost perspective. It nicked and split open the headlight, and it's already filled with condensation on that side, and these are the uprated LED headlights. They're not cheap. And then if you look in here, you can see the whole radiator support bracket sheared. You can see the radiator took a hit through here, and it's all pushed back as well. And I have not opened the hood of the truck because I'm fairly certain I won't be able to get it closed once it's open again, and I still want to be able to drive it around. So that's really the unfortunate update of the truck at the moment, which is it's got a hole in the front of it. Radiator supports have been pushed back. And, initially when I was on the side of the road, I'm like, no, we don't need to go through insurance or anything. Danny can get a hood and a grill and we should be good to go. But now that it's a grill, a hood, a headlight, radiator support brackets, everything's pushed back. We've involved Danny's insurance company, and I'm sure they will take care of it. We'll at least make sure they take care of it to the appropriate way and that they install all OE components on my truck. I'm really bummed about this, of course, because it's a brand new truck with under 10,000 miles. It's going to have a hit on the Carfax. Even though the vehicle has no operational issues whatsoever, this is still going to be damage to the tune of many thousands of dollars, potentially even $10,000 or more. When you start breaking these new expensive vehicles with expensive lights and switchgear and all this other stuff back here, the prices just go really high. And I will definitely document what the total repair costs come out to be, and the time and the process that we go through. And I'm a stickler for making sure my vehicles are repaired properly, and so we'll be making sure that this goes back to OE fit and finish standard, and everything will be good. It's certainly not totaled. The truck drives totally fine. It's great. I've been actually using it, and it's been no issue in terms of driveline. But, with the hood taking this much damage, if you look here, I worry about, did this bracketry have any damage, or is there anything else under the hood that could have secondary issues to it? So I'll certainly attach the full inspection report and the findings when we get to that point. But it's a real big bummer. Now, at the end of the day, I'm safe. I'm alive. It didn't go through the windshield, thank God, because that could have been really bad. And, things happen. The more time you spend on the roads, you do things, interesting things with cars, unfortunately, damage will happen. I always say cars do not fix themselves the more you drive them. So as long as, it's running, I'm alive, everyone is safe. Yes, it's a huge bummer that my brand new truck, I think the nicest vehicle that I own, has a hole in the front of it, but what can you do? So it's not worth getting upset over, and Danny's been great and handling everything and making sure that, he will also help with the truck getting repaired back to its proper, way that it needs to be. It was sort of just a rolling event, a whole day of just a mess. It's just one event after another, getting worse and worse and worse as the day progressed. Oh, I didn't even tell him about the worst part. Scott's behind the camera. Did you bring a mic? Do you want to tell everyone? I'm going to let everyone... I'm handing the mic over to Scott. Here you go.
Well, truck. As I'm on the phone with Kyle before this happens, I'm sitting at a charger at 2 o'clock in the morning because I needed a little bit more juice to get home. And my car said, you have enough juice to continue, but remember, it was raining, it was windy. Those things will affect range.
You also have your car set to 1% arrivals.
Yeah, my car is set on 1% arrivals. So as I'm driving away, I said, hey, I'm leaving. Kyle says, you should charge a little bit more. I said, I'm already leaving. We're good. Said, I'll call AAA. I won't call you if I need help. I'm going to handle this independently. Well, I ran out of charge in a spooky part of Virginia, and I called Kyle hysterically crying. So not only did this happen to his truck, he then had to come meet me at the Sheets, unload the B-Class, whatever, loves, unload the B-Class, put my Rivian on the trailer, and then I drove the B-Class home, which has no heat, I learned. Yeah, so really not a great day for Kyle, but...
Or you.
Or me. But we're lucky. You're alive. I'm alive. All the vehicles are mostly intact. And... yeah.
I scratched the wheel.
Yeah, he did scratch my wheel getting it on the trailer, but we can get a new wheel, and I don't know. I'm just glad you're alive, so I think that's the general synopsis of this video.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Sorry for holding the mic so close. I almost ate it. I don't know what I was thinking. Pretty tired. Yeah, so this will be a process. I've directed Danny and his insurance company to say, hey, let's get it done properly. That's the most important. Second most important is timeliness. I really want my truck back up and running. Of course, it does drive, so I can tow with it. It just doesn't look that great to have it like this, and I certainly want to have it repaired to factory standards as soon as possible. I'll let everyone know how that goes, but that's the story. We were almost going to make a whole video just on the day on how badly it unfolded. And, yep, then I got a hole in the front of my truck. So, and then Scott ran out of charge in a Rivian. It was just...
You left the keys an hour away.
Oh, yeah, and that's right. And the keys, we went to the airport, and the keys were up here. So, what a disaster. So, let's hope for better days going forwards. But at the end of it, we're all alive. Everything's good. And we've got more content to make with my Super Duty. And then I'll give everyone, once it's fixed, my real ownership update. And we'll go do some testing with it, and who knows. But that's my 2024 F350 Super Duty problem here on the Kyle Connor YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you in another one again soon.